Listen to me for a moment. The life you are dreaming of is not waiting for permission, it's waiting for your confidence. Stay with me until the end, because the final lessons will truly change how you see yourself. And your future. Confidence is not loud, it is rooted. And I want you to really sit with that for a moment, because so much of what the world has taught us about confidence is performative, exhausting, and deeply misleading. We are told to speak louder, post more, prove ourselves faster, collect validation like trophies. But real confidence doesn't shout for attention. It stands still, grounded, breathing, knowing. It is the calm tree in the middle of a storm, not the one trying to announce its presence. I learned this slowly through moments where I felt invisible, underestimated, or questioned. Not because I lacked ability, but because I was still learning to trust my own roots. When you are young, ambitious, and hungry, you often confuse noise with strength. You think confidence means having all the answers, walking into every room like you own it, never hesitating, never trembling. But that kind of confidence is fragile. It cracks the moment life asks a difficult question. Rooted confidence is different. Rooted confidence comes from knowing who you are even when no one is clapping, from honoring your values, even when shortcuts are tempting, from standing by your truth, even when it costs you comfort. Think about a time when you tried too hard to be seen. Maybe you over-explained, overworked, overgave, overperformed, not because it was aligned, but because you were afraid of being overlooked. That wasn't confidence. That was fear dressed up as ambition. And it's okay, we've all been there. I've been there. I remember walking into spaces where I felt like I had to earn the right to exist, to justify my presence, to shrink parts of myself while amplifying others. But here's what life taught me. The moment you stop trying to prove yourself, something extraordinary happens. You start becoming yourself. And becoming yourself is the most magnetic form of confidence there is. It's when your energy settles, your voice steadies, your choices slow down but deepen. You stop reacting to every opinion and start responding to your own inner compass. Rooted confidence is built in private, not in public. It's built in the mornings, when you show up for yourself before the world asks anything of you. It's built in the discipline of doing the work when no one is watching. It's built in the honesty of admitting, I don't know yet, but I am willing to learn. That willingness is strength. That humility is power. And spiritually, this kind of confidence is sacred because it comes from alignment. Alignment between who you are inside and how you move outside. When your roots are deep, you are not easily shaken by comparison, rejection, or delay. You don't panic when someone else succeeds faster. You don't collapse when a door closes. You understand that your timing is not random. That growth happens underground long before it becomes visible. Just like a seed. You don't see the roots forming, but without them, nothing stands. And this is where many people give up too soon. They don't see results, so they assume they are failing, not realizing that life is strengthening their foundation. If we're in a season where things feel quiet, slow, unseen, trust me. Something is rooting itself within you. Don't rush it. Don't abandon it. This is not the time to perform. This is the time to prepare. Confidence grows when you stop outsourcing your worth. When you no longer need applause to validate your existence. When silence doesn't scare you anymore. When being alone with your thoughts feels safe, not threatening. Ask yourself honestly, do I trust myself? Not my achievements, not my resume, not my image, but myself. Because that trust is the core of confidence. And if it's shaky right now, that doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're becoming aware. Awareness is always the first step before transformation. The world may reward loud confidence, but life rewards rooted confidence. Loud confidence demands attention. Rooted confidence commands respect. Loud confidence is impatient. Rooted confidence is enduring. Loud confidence burns out. Rooted confidence sustains. And the beautiful thing is, rooted confidence doesn't need perfection. It doesn't require you to have your life figured out. It only asks for honesty, presence, and courage. Courage to say, this is where I am. Courage to say, this is what matters to me. Courage to say, I will grow at my own pace. When you honor your pace, you honor your purpose. And let me gently tell you something. If you're listening to this right now, feel something stir inside you. It's because a deeper version of you is waking up. Don't ignore that. Don't scroll past that. The lessons ahead go even deeper, and if you leave now, you'll miss the truths that can completely shift how you plan your life, how you handle fear, how you build discipline, how you walk into your purpose. And yes, you may regret missing them, because confidence is not the destination. It's the beginning. It's the soil in which every confident plan, every brave decision, every meaningful success will grow. Stay with me. The journey is just unfolding. And what comes next will challenge you, strengthen you, and ultimately set you free. Discipline is self-respect in action. And I want you to feel the weight of that truth. Because discipline has been misunderstood for far too long as punishment, restriction, or force, when in reality it is one of the deepest forms of love you can offer yourself. Discipline is not about waking up early just to suffer or pushing yourself until you break. Discipline is about deciding that your future matters more than your momentary comfort, that your dreams deserve consistency, not just passion. Passion is beautiful, but it is unreliable, it burns hot and fades fast. Discipline is quiet, steady, and faithful. It shows up on the days when motivation disappears, when self-doubt is loud, when no one is cheering, and it whispers, I am still here. Think about the people you admire most, not the loudest, not the most dramatic, but the ones who endure, who evolve, who keep becoming. Their confidence didn't come from luck. It came from habits. Small, unglamorous, repetitive choices made daily. Discipline is choosing to honor your word to yourself, even when no one else will know if you break it. It's finishing the workout when your body wants to stop, closing the laptop when your soul needs rest, saying no to distractions that steal your future for temporary relief. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, something sacred happens inside you. Trust is built. And self-trust is the strongest form of confidence there is. Without it, you may look confident, but inside, you'll always feel fragile. I've learned that the most dangerous promises are the ones we casually break with ourselves. I'll start tomorrow. I'll take myself seriously. Later, I'll commit when I feel ready. Tomorrow becomes a habit. Later becomes a lifestyle, and readiness never arrives. Discipline interrupts that cycle. It says, I will act before I feel ready, because action creates readiness. Spiritually speaking, discipline is alignment. Alignment between intention and behavior. You can pray for growth, clarity, abundance, and strength. But if your daily actions contradict your prayers, life will feel heavy and confusing. Discipline is how you meet the universe halfway. It's how you say, I am prepared to receive what I am asking for. And this is where many people struggle. They want transformation without structure, success without sacrifice, confidence without consistency. But life doesn't work that way. Just as a river is shaped by its banks, your potential is shaped by your discipline. Without boundaries, energy scatters. With discipline, energy flows. Imagine trying to build a house without routine, without order, without patience. It would collapse before it stood. Your life is no different. Discipline is the architecture of becoming. And let me be honest with you, discipline will test you. It will ask you to choose long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure. It will ask you to be misunderstood, to be bored, to be uncomfortable. But discomfort is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Every time you do the hard thing instead of the easy thing, you expand your capacity. You become someone who can be trusted by others, yes, but more importantly, by yourself. And once you trust yourself, fear loses its grip, because fear thrives where self-trust is weak. Discipline doesn't make life smaller, it makes it freer. The more disciplined you are with your time, the more freedom you gain within it. The more disciplined you are with your energy, the more present you become. The more disciplined you are with your thoughts, the more peaceful your inner world feels. Discipline is not about controlling life. It's about mastering yourself. And mastery is not domination, it is devotion. Devotion to your growth. Devotion to your healing. Devotion to the version of you that is waiting on the other side of consistency. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. That truth can feel confronting, but it is also empowering, because it means your future, not a mystery. It is being written daily by what you choose to do when no one is watching. If right now you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure of yourself, don't look for a dramatic breakthrough. Look for a small commitment you can keep today. Wake up 10 minutes earlier, write one honest page, make one difficult phone call. Drink water instead of avoiding yourself. Discipline begins there, in the ordinary moments that shape extraordinary lives. And as you practice it, something shifts. You stop negotiating with your potential. You stop waiting for permission. You start moving with quiet authority. That's when confidence deepens, not because life becomes easy, but because you become reliable. Stay with this, because the lessons ahead build on this foundation in ways that will challenge how you see fear, purpose, and gratitude. And if you leave now, you will miss the turning point where discipline transforms into clarity, and clarity into power. The final truths are not motivational noise, they are life-altering insights, and you may regret missing them. Discipline is not a cage, it is a bridge. A bridge between who you are and who you are meant to become. Walk it daily, even slowly, even imperfectly, because every disciplined step forward is a declaration: my life matters, my growth matters, and I am willing to show up for it. Fear is not a stop sign, it is a signal, and I want you to feel the relief in that truth, because so many of us have been living as if fear were a warning to turn back, when in reality it is often life's way of saying, this matters. Fear shows up when you're standing at the edge of something meaningful, something that stretches you beyond who you've been. Think about it. You are rarely afraid of things that don't matter to you. Fear doesn't appear when you're settling. It appears when you're stepping into growth. I felt fear before walking onto unfamiliar stages, before making decisions that could change everything, before choosing my truth over approval. And every time fear tried to convince me that safety lived behind me, not ahead of me. But fear lies. It disguises itself as protection when it is really resistance to change. Spiritually, fear is energy, not an enemy, and energy can be redirected. When fear rises, it's asking you to pay attention, not retreat. It's saying something inside you is expanding. Imagine fear as a knock on the door of your awareness. You can ignore it, or you can open the door and ask, what are you here to teach me? Because fear always carries information. It reveals where you care deeply, where your values are alive, where your potential is waiting to be claimed. The problem is not fear itself. The problem is believing fear's stories without questioning them. Fear tells you you're not ready, not enough, not capable. But fear has never been qualified to judge your future. It only knows your past. Growth, however, lives beyond familiarity. When a child learns to walk, fear is present. The fear of falling, But that fear doesn't mean the child should stop trying. It means the muscles are strengthening, the balance is forming, the next step is near. Falling is not failure, it is feedback. And the same is true for you. Every time you've fallen, every time you've been rejected, every time something didn't work out, you learn something essential about your resilience. Fear would like you to forget that. It would like you to focus only on the pain, not the strength that carried you through it. But look at yourself. You are still here, still dreaming, still listening. That alone is proof of your courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move with fear in your pocket, not at the steering wheel. When fear drives, life becomes small. When awareness drives, fear becomes a passenger, acknowledged but not obeyed. And awareness begins by asking better questions. Instead of asking, what if I fail? Ask, what if I grow? Instead of asking, what will people think? Ask, what will I think of myself if I don't try? Fear loses its grip when it is met with curiosity rather than resistance. The more you avoid fear, the louder it becomes. The more you face it gently, the quieter it gets. I've learned that fear often guards the doorway to your next level. On the other side of fear is confidence. Not because fear disappears, but because you realize you can walk through it and survive. And once you've survived it once, fear never has the same power again. This is why so many people stay stuck, not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they misinterpret fear as a sign to stop instead of a sign to prepare. Preparation doesn't mean waiting until fear disappears. It means strengthening yourself enough to move anyway. And here's something rarely said. Fear can be a form of respect. It respects the magnitude of what you're stepping into. It respects the responsibility of growth. It respects the truth that becoming more requires leaving something behind. You don't fear small lives, you fear big ones. You don't fear staying the same. You fear becoming visible, accountable, awake. That fear is not weakness, it is honesty. And honesty is powerful. If you're feeling fear right now, don't shame yourself for it. Don't rush to silence it. Sit with it. Breathe with it. Ask it what it's protecting. Often, fear is guarding a younger version of you that learned to associate risk with pain. Acknowledge that part with compassion. Tell it, thank you, F. Or trying to protect me. I've grown now. Healing fear is not about force, it's about reassurance. And as you reassure yourself, you reclaim your authority. Life responds to that authority. Opportunities open when you show up whole, not fearless, but willing. Willing to be seen. Willing to fail forward. Willing to trust that even if things don't go as planned, you will not be lost, you will be redirected. Stay with me, because the lessons ahead reveal how gratitude, purpose, and awareness turn fear into fuel. And if you leave now, you'll miss the moment where everything begins to connect. You may even regret missing it, because these final truths are where fear stops controlling your life and starts shaping your strength. Fear is not here to stop you. It is here to ask you one question. Will you choose comfort or will you choose growth? The answer to that question quietly defines your entire future. Purpose is fed before it is found. And I want you to breathe that in. Because so many people exhaust themselves searching for purpose, as if it were a destination with a clear address, a title you earn, or a moment that suddenly announces, this is it. But purpose is not a lightning strike. It is a quiet current. It moves through you long before you can name it. You feel it in moments when time disappears. When your energy expands instead of drains. When you are fully present without forcing yourself to be. Purpose whispers before it speaks. It nudges before it commands. The tragedy is that many people ignore those whispers because they are waiting for something louder, something more certain, something socially impressive. I've learned that purpose doesn't always arrive dressed as clarity. Often it arrives disguised as curiosity, discomfort, or a deep restlessness that won't let you stay where you are. That restlessness is not a flaw. It is your inner wisdom refusing to let you live asleep. Think back to moments in your life when something stirred you unexpectedly. A conversation, a book, an injustice, a creative impulse, a desire to help, to build, to express, to heal. You may not have known why it mattered, but it stayed with you. That staying power is a clue. Purpose leaves fingerprints on your heart before it ever leaves a map in your mind. Spiritually, purpose is alignment between who you are becoming and how you are choosing to live. It is not separate from you. It is revealed through you. And this is where many people get lost. They wait to feel ready before moving, not realizing that purpose reveals itself through motion, not contemplation alone. You don't find purpose by standing still and overthinking. You uncover it by engaging with life, by serving, by learning, by trying, by failing, by adjusting. Purpose is not a straight line. It is a dialogue. Life speaks, you respond. You act, life responds. And slowly, meaning takes shape. I've seen people delay their lives for years because they believed they needed certainty before commitment. But certainty is a luxury of hindsight. Forward movement requires faith. Faith that even if this step isn't the final one, it is a necessary one. Faith that no experience is wasted when lived consciously. Purpose is not about getting it right the first time. It's about staying awake to what feels true as you evolve. Just like a river doesn't know the ocean while it's still winding through mountains, you don't need to know the end to honor the flow. Your responsibility is not to have it all figured out. It is to listen honestly to what enlivens you now. And listening requires silence. It requires you to step away from comparison, from external timelines, from the pressure to justify your path. Purpose grows clear when you stop asking, what should I do? And start asking, what feels aligned with who I am becoming? Alignment is the compass. When you ignore it, life feels heavy, resistant, exhausting. When you honor it, even hard work feels meaningful. And here's something important. Purpose is not always glamorous. Sometimes it looks like patience. Sometimes it looks like preparation. Sometimes it looks like doing unseen work with devotion. We romanticize purpose as impact and recognition. But often purpose begins as service without applause. It asks you to give before you receive clarity, to contribute before you are celebrated. That's how character is formed. That's how confidence deepens. And purpose is deeply connected to responsibility. Not obligation, but responsibility to your own growth. You cannot outsource purpose. No mentor, partner, or society can hand it to you. They can only mirror what you are willing to see within yourself. Purpose also evolves. What served you once may not serve you forever. And that's not failure, that's maturity. Letting go of an old purpose is not betrayal, it's honesty. The courage to release what no longer aligns creates space for what's next to emerge. If right now you feel torn, uncertain, or dissatisfied, don't rush to label yourself lost. You may simply be shedding an outdated version of yourself. That shedding can feel uncomfortable, even lonely, but it is sacred. Growth always costs something, usually familiarity. Purpose asks you to trust that the discomfort of growth is safer than the comfort of stagnation. And if you're listening to this and thinking, I still don't know my purpose, let me tell you this gently. You don't need to know it to live it. Every time you act with integrity, curiosity, compassion, and courage, you are practicing purpose. Every time you choose growth over ego, learning over fear, presence over distraction, you are moving closer to it. Purpose is not hidden from you, it is hidden in you. And it reveals itself in layers, as much as you are ready to hold. Stay with me, because the lessons ahead connect purpose with gratitude and awareness in a way that will shift how you see your entire life. And if you leave now, you'll miss the moment when all of this begins to feel clear instead of abstract. You may regret missing it, because the final truths are where purpose stops feeling distant and starts feeling lived. Purpose is not something you chase. It is something you allow. Allow it to unfold. Allow yourself to evolve. Allow the journey to teach you. Because the most meaningful life is not the one that looks perfect from the outside, it's the one that feels honest on the inside.